Hi everyone, my name is Gretchen Church. I am here today to talk about lower body exercises that relate to marching technique. Part one of this video is going to be a standing series of visual warm-ups. As the name suggests, they're going to be stationary. These exercises are done pretty commonly throughout the marching arts world. Most groups do these exercises or variations of these exercises because they directly relate to marching technique. Part two of this video is going to be a few lower body strengthening exercises that are really good for not only marching, but just the overall health of your lower body. A lot of aspects of marching and conditioning your body and strengthening your body are good just for your overall health in general. They will help you be a better marcher, but they will also just help you be healthier and stronger in general. I was a mellophone player in high school and a mellophone player throughout my drum corps career. I definitely fell in love with the visual aspect of the marching arts more than the musical aspect, although I love both. After I was done marching, I began running, and now I am a very passionate runner. Running and the visual aspect of marching relate to each other a lot. It's all about strength and dexterity of your lower body, keeping yourself healthy, keeping yourself strong to reduce injury. So as you pursue a career in the marching arts, keeping yourself strong and healthy is key to being a good marcher. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you want to follow along with this video, you don't need any equipment. I would recommend wearing athletic clothing. I'm going to be doing these exercises barefoot so you can see what my feet are doing. I would recommend wearing a supportive athletic shoe. The only other equipment that you're going to need if you're doing this with me is either a t-shirt or a towel, a small piece of fabric, anything that's about this size of a t-shirt will do. Otherwise, if you don't want to do this live, that's okay. You can go back and watch it later. So let's get started with our standing series. So the first exercise that we're going to do, a lot of you may have done this. If you have, this will be a good review. If you haven't, you're learning something new today. This first exercise is called up 4, down 4. All of these exercises that we're about to do are about separating your lower body from your upper body. So in the marching arts, the lower body is doing all of the athletic work and the upper body is performing. So when we're doing these exercises, they all take place from the hips down. So your upper body should remain relaxed. So think about your breathing, think about keeping your body calm, think about keeping your shoulders down, and think about not having any tension from the waist up. So to start, our feet are going to be parallel, just smaller than shoulder width apart. And for up 4, down 4, we're going to start with the left foot. The up 4 part is bringing your foot up to knee height. So think about the ball of your foot being at knee height. And when we're raising our foot, we want the foot to be relaxed. So we don't want it to be pointed, we don't want it to be flexed, or we don't want it to be sickled like this. We just want it to be relaxed. So again, the up 4 part, you go up, 2, 3, 4. So 4 just means you go from here to here in 4 counts. And again, ball of the foot at knee height. The other important thing to remember is our knee stays pointing forward. Knee stays pointing forward. Not like that, pointed out, not pointed in, pointed forward. So that's the up 4 aspect. And again, the whole time we're doing this, we're breathing. Nothing from the waist up has changed. We're only talking about the lower body. So up, 2, 3, 4. And as you probably guessed, we go down in 4 counts. Down, 2, 3, 4. Your foot returns to that parallel position. Another thing to keep in mind when you're going down, we want to define when your foot makes contact with the ground. So when you're doing this, I want you to think down, 2, 3, touch. The word touch is when your toes hit, and down is when your heel hits. So it'll go down, 2, 3, touch, and down, 2, 3, toe, heel. So you can think of it either way, either touch and or toe, heel. There's different variations of this exercise. The groups that I've worked with, we alternate legs. So now we'll do it on the other leg. Up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, touch, and 1. The whole point of this exercise, not only to separate the lower body from the upper body, it's also about control. You want to make sure you're controlling your weight, so we're not going back and forth like this. And how do we do this? How do we prevent ourselves from looking goofy like this? When we switch feet, we need to transfer the weight. So we need to transfer from this foot to this foot. Transfer the weight. Transferring the weight will prevent you from wobbling back and forth. So you've been watching me head on, so let's watch this sideways. Another important thing about weight control is we're not leaning forwards when we bring our foot up. We're not leaning backwards when we bring our foot up. Everything from the waist up stays the same. If you took a piece of paper and covered up the bottom of your screen where my legs are, it should look like I'm just standing here not doing anything. So if you watch me do this, notice how pretty much nothing in the upper body is changing, right? So I know this is a lot of information. If you've done this before, this is good review, but if you haven't done it before, I know that was a lot of things to hit, but let's just review. So let's review the count structure. Up, 2, 3, 4. Remember, count 4 is when you're at knee height. Down, 2, 3, touch, and other leg, 2, 3, 4. Down, 2, 3, touch, and 1. And repeat. Just for teaching purposes, I haven't put a pause in between each leg, but you do them continuously. This is what the whole thing would look like. Up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, touch, and up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, touch, repeat, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, touch, and 1. You should be able to do this quite a few times in a row while maintaining your balance. If you want to add an added balance challenge, you can add a hold here. This is what it would look like. Up, 2, 3, 4, hold, and down, 2, 3, touch, and up, hold, and down, 2, 3. You can even go and stop and stand here. Again, if I'm a performer, if I'm wearing a drum, let's say, maybe I'm standing on one foot and playing. That could be a thing, maybe, that you do. You should be able to balance here for a while because, again, we're separating the lower body from the upper body. I'm still breathing, I'm still relaxed, but my upper body or my lower body is doing all the work. So the things that we worked on with that exercise were balance and lower body control, separating the lower body from the upper body. And that's what the other exercises will be about as well. So that is a pretty basic exercise that you'll see a lot. Those are really good to practice on your own, just because you can do them in a small space, like in your bedroom or your kitchen, living room, wherever you are. This next exercise, you'll need just a little bit of room to step out in various directions, in front, behind, and to the side. So if you're doing this with me, just make sure you don't have anything directly in your way. For this next exercise, they're called Tandoos. Again, a lot of you who have marched have done this, or if you're a dancer, you know what a Tandoo is. Tandoo position, I'm gonna try to do it so you can see it. If you're doing this with me, I want you to take your left foot and stick it out straight in front of you. So there's no bend in my leg. My leg is straight. My knee is not bent. So I'm pointing my toe. I'm not flexing it, I'm pointing it. So completely straight, right out in front of you. Now I want you to think about the only toes that are touching the floor are your pinky toe and your next toe. So I guess like your ring toe. So what it's gonna look like is like this. Instead of like this, if this is my foot, it's just gonna be these two toes, my pinky toe and my ring toe. So that's what a Tandoo looks like. And make sure you can see it. There we go. So when you turn out like that, this is the opposite if it's flat or turned out. Do you see that difference? So when you turn out, the inside of your knee is pointing up. Got to make sure you have that turn out. So again, flat, turned out, flat, turned out, flat, turned out. So that's a Tandoo. Most important thing is the pointed toe, the turn out, and no bend in your knee, completely straight. And if you're doing it live with me, just try it on your other foot, see how that feels. And when you're doing this with the turnout, your feet are naturally going to go out at an angle, right? Do you see how it's at an angle instead of straight forward? So what I want you to think about when you're doing a Tandoo from our parallel position, this is what your feet are gonna look like. 45, 45, 45, 45, as opposed to straight forward. Cool? Okay. So that's our Tandoo. Big thing about Tandoos is when you do this, there's no weight here. I've transferred all of my weight onto this back leg so that I can lift. This is a different move that we're not going to get into. This is called a Rhonda Jean. Wait, no, dégagé Rhonda Jean. There we go. But the whole point is you should be able to do other things with this leg. All the weight is on this leg. So let's try it with the other foot just so we're even. Tandoo, make sure you can lift this up. All the weight is here. You can use this leg a little bit for control, but for the most part, there's no weight here. We're ready to do other things with this leg. And again, don't forget, from the waist up, we're relaxed, we're breathing. Our shoulders haven't hiked up. We don't have any tension, we're relaxed because we're separating the lower body from the upper body. We're gonna do a really basic Tandoo exercise in a 4-count structure. You're gonna take 4 counts to get to your Tandoo. So out, 2, 3, 4. Back, 2, 3, 4. So again, 1, 2, 3, Tandoo, back, 2, 3, 4. Try it with the other foot. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. And again, you can do this a variety of different ways. I believe groups that I've taught in the past, we do 2 on each leg, just because it for some reason for this exercise, it feels kind of awkward to do 1, 1, 1, 1. So we're gonna do it in groups of 2. So the whole exercise is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, back, 2, 3, and again, 2, 3, 4. Other foot, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, and repeat. Same thing with up 4, down 4. We want to transfer that weight from one foot to another evenly so we don't see back and forth. This is really exaggerated. I don't think anyone would actually do this. But again, same as up 4, down 4. If you take a sheet of paper and cover up my legs, it should look like I'm, for the most part, just standing here. So upper body stays the same for the most part. Yeah? You can also practice doing it faster. So in 2 counts. Out, 2, in, 2. Out, 2, in, and out, 2. Out, 2. Cool. Those are Tandoos. Tandoos go to the side as well. So for a side Tandoo, the toe that contacts is your big toe. It's really going to be the inside of your big toe. And this just goes straight side to side. We're not going forward or backward, we're just going straight to the side. The big tendency here is to counter the weight with your upper body and move it in the opposite direction. Just because your body wants to balance it out. So make sure the upper body stays the same. Okay? Backwards Tandoos now. When you do a backwards Tandoo, it is the top and kind of the middle of your big toe is the part that contacts the floor. So straight out, again, just the top and middle of my big toe. Same thing as before, don't counter the weight with your upper body, right? Don't counter the weight, keep your upper body the same. Boom. Yeah? Throughout the whole Tandoo exercise, your knee does not bend. So let me show you what the opposite would be. This would be if I'm bending my knee. This would be without bending my knee. My leg is straight the whole time. Again, I'm not picking it up and putting it down, just pushing it out like that. So let's combine all of these. We'll do the groupings of 2. We're gonna go to the front first, and then to the side, and then back on the left foot. So again, with the left foot, forward Tandoo, left Tandoo, back Tandoo. I'll show you what it looks like. Out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4. Again, and in, and side, in, and side, in, now back, and in, and back, and in. Now other leg, forward, and back, and forward, and we're still breathing the whole time, to the side, and in, to the side, and in, and back, and in, and back, and in. So when you're doing that, again, no knee bend. And remember, when you're doing these Tandoos, the weight is on the stationary leg. Because remember, we're ready to do other things with this leg if we need to. Those are 2 really basic visual standing series exercises. If you want to practice them, you can vary them any way that you want. You can do the Tandoos faster, like I showed you before. You just make sure when you do them that you do an equal amount on one leg as the other so you're not uneven. And again, let's review the things that we worked on with those exercises. We worked on separating our upper body from our lower body. We worked on balance. We worked on marching technique, because if you have marched before, you can see how these motions relate to marching technique, right? Like when you're crabbing, you're doing a variation of a Tandoo. You transfer your weight from one foot to another. And I think the biggest takeaway from this is just think about controlling your lower body so that your upper body can perform you music. And I just want to make a quick disclaimer. Everything that I did with my right leg might look a little goofy because I do have an injury. So if you're watching this and I look a little wonky on my right leg, which to you, this side, that's why. So please bear with me. So now we're into part 2 of this video. And again, those 2 exercises that we just did are really basic. There are a lot more. But I think those are 2 of the most important ones, because the most basic, simple ones are usually the most important ones. Because marching is all about building, like you have your foundation and then you build on top of it. You can't build unless you have a solid foundation. So like for marching, those 2 exercises that we just did are like a foundation, and everything else kind of builds on top of that. So part 2, this is when you're going to need your t-shirt, towel, random piece of fabric, small blanket, whatever you have. These are a few exercises that I learned from running. They promote dexterity and strength of the ball of your foot and your shin. Those are 2 areas of your leg that are going to be heavily engaged while you're marching, and the stronger that they are, the better that you're going to be at marching, hopefully, and the less prone to injury you will be. So, first exercise, grab your towel or your t-shirt or whatever you have. Put it on the floor in front of you. I'm going to adjust my camera. Hopefully you can see better. Okay, this exercise promotes dexterity of the ball of the foot. This one you should either be barefoot or just in a sock. This won't work if you're wearing a shoe. So if you're doing this live with me, take your shoe off. Socks are fine. Like I said, either socks or barefoot are ideal. With your foot, I want you to just use your foot to pull your shirt or your towel towards you. So just grab it and pull it towards you. Now straighten it out. Try it with the other foot. If you're strong and muscular, or if you just work out on a regular basis, or you run a lot or walk a lot, this won't burn. This won't be painful. But what this does, it's activating the muscle in the ball of your foot by doing this motion. And also, if this is my shin, it's activating the shin muscles. This one on the front of your leg right here. That's called I think it's the tibialis anterior. It's the anterior muscle that connects to your tibia, which is your front shin bone. So every time you scrunch your foot, it's engaging that shin muscle. So again, it probably won't burn a lot. If you do it a lot, it probably will. But if you want to do this on a regular basis, just to make the ball of your foot and your shin stronger, I would say probably do it every other day. Do like 10 pulls on each leg every other day. And eventually you might feel a little stiffness and a little burn from working those muscles. So that's a really good exercise to do. We're done with the shirt or the towel now. Second shin exercise that we're going to do is something that most of you have probably already done. It's calf raises. They're pretty self-explanatory. If you don't have very good balance, or just if you want to, you can just put your hand on something to stabilize yourself. Don't put any weight on it, just use it to stabilize yourself. So let's start with the left foot. Just up and down. Again, a calf raise is really self-explanatory. This leg, there's no weight on it. It's just hanging out. We're doing it one leg at a time. So we're going to go up and hold and down. Up and hold and down. Up and hold and down. And do it on the other leg. Up and hold and down. Up, hold, and down. If you want to do this, again, on a regular basis to strengthen your calves and your shin muscles, I would say let's do 20 reps on each leg every other day. These aren't things that you want to do every single day. Every other day is probably sufficient. An extra challenge that you can do, I don't have stairs because I live in an apartment, but you can do this on a stair. So here's my stair. That way you have a wider range. So instead of just going up from here, you're going up all the way from up here, right? So you have a wider range. Third exercise that we're going to do to strengthen our shins. I'm gonna move my computer here. I'll explain it first. This is another common exercise that I know a lot of marching groups do because it focuses on the pointed foot position, which is very relevant to marching. So again, this might be one that some of you have done before. If you have, this will be a good review. But pointed position is our starting point. You don't have to have a beautiful dancer's toe point. That's totally fine. Just point as hard as you can. We're gonna do some rotations that, again, focus on this, what was it called? Tibialis anterior. That's what it is. So the front tibia muscle right here, your shin muscle. So we're gonna do outward rotations first, and then we're gonna do inward rotations. So I just want you to take 4 counts to make a circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. So again, out, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. And then we can go the other way. Out, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. When you're doing these outward ones, it's really important not to open up your legs like this, but keep your legs facing straight forward so you're really working that muscle. Really working that muscle. You should feel it on the top of your leg right here. So let's do 4 of each. Let's go out, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, out, 3, 4. Now we'll do the inward circles. In, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So I personally can feel the burn all the way up here. The first 2, you might not feel a burn. That one, you probably will if you're doing it correctly. So that is all we are going to talk about today. If you haven't done some of those before, we went through them very quickly. If you have done them before, I hope this was good review for you. These are all things that directly relate to marching technique and the dexterity, strength, and health of your lower leg, which is the most important part of your leg for marching. So I hope you learned a lot in this video. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I love talking about this stuff. A lot of people don't really necessarily enjoy marching basics, It's definitely usually not as exciting as learning some new beats or playing a show. However, again, we have our foundation. You can't go anywhere if you don't have good basics, right? So I love talking about this stuff, and I just love talking about health and strength and fitness in general. Feel free to reach out to me if you want a quick lesson on anything specific or if you have any questions. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you're enjoying your other awesome MPA videos. And I hope you're enjoying your year so far. Take care, you guys. Stay healthy.